Hi, everybody, and welcome to Talk to Rose, episode 83. On this show, we talk about everything going on in the world, good, bad, raggedy, and wonderful. So we're just going to get this show started. Thank you to all my guests that tune in every week and everybody that watches the replay. If you haven't done already, make sure you press the like button. And I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Madam. You can follow me on YouTube at Melanin Madam, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can also buy my new color and journal book on Amazon. Good evening. Happy hump day. Hope you got humped.
Hi, I'm Vonda, and you can follow me on Instagram at Vonda_Renee777.
Thank you, ladies. I'm still over here being greedy. That's what happened when you eat one time. I only ate at 7:30 in the morning, and then now so. Okay, so I'm gonna get right into our Black History moment, and the title of this is the Devil's Punch Bowl. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Devil's Punch Bowl, but I'll just let you guys watch it. I won't just be running my mouth. I'll let you guys watch.
Did you know? After the Civil War ended, slavery was supposed to be over. But for thousands of newly freed black men, women, and children, the promise of freedom turned into a death sentence. In Natchez, Mississippi, there's a place called the Devil's Punch Bowl, a deep natural pit surrounded by high bluffs and steep walls. But what happened there after 1865 is one of the darkest, most hidden chapters of American history. When enslaved Africans were finally freed, thousands fled to Natchez hoping for safety, protection, and a new life. Instead, the Union Army, yes, the same army that supposedly fought for their freedom, forced over 20,000 of them into concentration camps inside the Punch Bowl. They were not allowed to leave. If they tried, they were shot dead on sight. They were starved, overworked, and left to rot in inhumane conditions. Thousands, especially women and children, died in that pit. There were no proper burials, just mass graves. Today, that land is considered a preserve. It's rich with wild peach trees that only grow within the Punch Bowl. The soil is said to be fertile, fed by the bodies of our ancestors who were dumped and buried there without dignity, without names. Locals say the peaches are sweet, but nobody eats them. Not out of superstition, but out of respect. Because the fruit that grows there was watered by the blood, bones, and suffering of freed black people who were never truly freed. This wasn't a war crime against enemies. It was state-sanctioned genocide against the very people America promised to liberate. And now, it's barely mentioned. Not in textbooks, not in school, not in monuments. But we remember. We speak their names even if we don't know them. We honor the souls buried in the Devil's Punch Bowl by telling the truth they tried to bury with them. Because if we don't tell it, who will?
So that's crazy, ain't it?
I'll probably never eat a peach again the same way. Jesus.
But that's just the peaches that are there,
Mhm.
the peach trees that are planted.
Oh, I know. But now just knowing that something happened with peach is buried, that's crazy. How
Yeah,
can people be so evil? Even till today. Like, what makes them be so evil like that?
they hate us so much. And
For
that's why I always
nothing.
say I don't understand why they always say why we still mad. Why should we
Because
not
it's
still be
still
mad?
happening. That's why.
Right.
And it started, and y'all trying to start it all over again.
Right.
If we want to keep it 100.
Right.
So when I seen that, I was like, dang, as many times as I've been to Mississippi, I learn new stuff all the time, but I wouldn't even want to go, even though it's history, I wouldn't even want to go there. Like, I think it would make me too emotional. I don't like seeing stuff like that. Like, I can learn about my history, but it's certain places I just would not, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. Like, no, I don't want to take no picture over there, nothing. No,
But the soil is tainted until you make it right. Why would I want to be here? Because you still to this day haven't made it right.
no, at all.
So I
If y'all
don't.
do it all over again, y'all have us back down here.
They would do it today.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we know that for sure.
Mhm.
So that's our Black History moment. Like we said, we're gonna keep doing that all year round. This we learning new stuff every week that we didn't
Right.
learn in school,
Right.
and stuff that they taken out of the textbook. So that's something that I never even knew. So I'm gonna get right into the hot topic. So I have an update on the Carmelo Anthony case, which we talked about last week. So he is out on bail. His bail was reduced from $1 million to $250,000. So he's at home. He's on house arrest, and surrounded by his family. And like we said just a few minutes ago, the people are still mad about that because he went over his goal. It's probably at 400,000 now that they raised, and they're mad because they're saying the family moved and bought a house with it and bought a car, which whatever they wanted to do with it, they could. But the family was
Rosa,
already
that's
well off.
impossible to move
Yeah,
that quick. That's
maybe they could have rented somewhere, but I feel like they should have go somewhere else anyways. If everybody know where they live at, I don't think that even though he's on house arrest, it's not safe for him. So
Right.
even if the family rented somewhere else and they use that money, that's fine.
I
They're
think
not
they
gonna.
should.
Yeah, I don't think that he should be there. I had said that
They're like
at first.
sitting ducks because he's on
Yeah,
house arrest. You know where he is every time. He can't even probably go in the front yard.
at
I
all.
think they should, but I don't think they did. He came from a good home before, and they was
Yeah,
leaving that
they
part
had
out.
money. Yeah, they
Yeah,
had money. It's like,
yeah.
and they didn't start the GoFundMe or nothing, but whatever they want to do, their defense team is probably not going to cost 400,000. And how do we know that some of them lawyers might take that case on for free? Y'all don't know. So, but it doesn't matter. They can do what they want to do with their GoFundMe money. Like I said, the boy that passed away, I'm pretty sure his family didn't use the over $200,000 that they raised for him for a funeral.
And they
A
kept
funeral don't cost.
raising theirs.
Yeah, a funeral don't cost $200,000.
Mm-mm.
So what are y'all doing? We ain't worried about what y'all doing with y'all money. So why are y'all worried about what he's doing with his money? I just hate how racist it is now. Like it's ridiculous, and they want to see that boy just rot in hell when it's been other them out there doing the same thing
It
right
was
now. Yeah.
literally just when they drowned a boy. They
Mm-hmm.
lured him into the water, drowned him, sat there and watched it happen, and a passerby had to jump in to save the boy. And that boy is out. So I don't understand. And to me, a part of defense is protection. So even if they did have to sell their home and go buy another one, to your point, I hope they do raise all the money to do all of that. I wouldn't have a problem with the money I donated going for relocation and
Me neither.
stuff because it's a part of the whole thing, you know? So I don't see nothing wrong with it.
I don't
But
see
it's
nothing.
impossible that in a couple weeks that's happened. It's just not even
That's why I
realistic.
said they probably renting another house, but for sure they haven't bought. How do you feel about that case, Vonda?
Basically, everything y'all saying is right on point, and they do have a right to do what they want with their money. It's theirs. It's literally given because no matter what, this is going to be an inconvenience. It's going to be a hardship on the family. It's still going
Mm-hmm.
to have to it's going to be needed to be put somewhere else.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. What parent in their right mind, if they had the opportunity? Now, granted, nobody, I'm pretty sure they're homeowners because, again, they were well off or good already in a two-parent household and all that stuff. Nobody wants to sell the home they picked out and relocate. But if it's for safety purposes, and look at the comments, those comments would scare me. But you still can't make me believe that they relocated even in this time period because y'all are both parents. Think about if y'all son was in there like that. You not thinking about nothing but your child. You not packing up, going to look for a place. It's not enough brain power and hours in a day to do that. I don't think
No,
that's true.
but
They're
I
lying.
would rent somewhere real fast.
But
And
yet, now that
yeah.
he's home, I think that you would as a parent, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the reality is, in this short amount of time, that family wasn't doing. I don't believe they did all of that in
I
that
don't
short
either.
amount of time. Like, leave them alone. Great, you told us what their mortgage was. Thank you for verifying that he came from a nice family with a background that supported their children. This is not real. That's not real that they did all of that in this amount of time, worried about their son.
And usually it wouldn't be focused on someone what they're doing like outside. They're if they're who's paying so much attention to them to where, oh, you guys have moved.
That's
Why?
scary. That
Why?
part.
That is scary.
scary, right? That's the first thing I thought. How do y'all know this level of detail already? How do you know where this baby is? Whoever put this out, they should be, again, not paying attention to what you should. Somebody needs to be taking note of this, because why are you putting that out? What did you need that information for? Are you going to hurt this child? I will be looking at it like that versus
It's
just
even more reason to relocate.
girl.
All the more reason.
Mm.
So we'll keep you guys updated on that. I'm gonna be on that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the 7 ladies that supposedly went to space the other day. What was that, Monday or Tuesday? They supposedly went oh wait, hold on. It said, what did we need to say?
Bro, your homegirls went to space. Why you want to keep saying your homegirls didn't go to space?
They also leaked the judge's address as well. Wow. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's crazy.
We got to pray for them, y'all. Everybody involved. Because I don't want nothing to happen to the other, no family as well, because it's mean things being said about the other side too, but more, of course, on our side. We need to pray for them. It's enough to go through this than to be worried about your safety from outside people. And in Texas, open carry state, Jesus.
And it's stand your ground state.
Right.
Stand your ground state. So in who is that? I think you sent that to me, that a witness finally came out and said what he saw. I was surprised they let that come out, but okay. So like we said, we'll keep you guys updated on that. The next topic is Gail and her homies, Katy Perry and all of them supposedly went to outer space the other day. They went and came back in 11 minutes. I mean, that's just really unheard of. So I just feel like they're lying to us. They're playing in our face. I don't care what nobody say. And then somebody was like, well, they didn't really go to outer space. They went to the perimeter of the space.
Yeah, I saw that.
I said, but they didn't say that. On the captions, they said that they were going to space, not to the perimeter of space. They said that they were going to space. That's what they told us. And I don't care if they was going to the perimeter. I don't feel like they went there. Like, it takes more than a couple of months to prepare for that. And astronauts were stuck up there for 8 to 9 months, 2 astronauts. So what would make me get in a space shuttle, whatever y'all calling it, a capsule, whatever, and go up there? I don't care how far y'all saying we going. If we was going halfway, I don't want to go. I just don't feel like they went. Do anybody really feel like they went in the comments? Are you ladies, do y'all really feel like they went? Or do you guys feel like they was at somebody's home studio, Tyler Perry Studios, Universal Studios?
Bro, they went. Leave them people alone. They went. We go into space too when we go in the Southwest and fly above the clouds. Just because they didn't go up there and stay for days, bro. They went. They went, and they were so happy. And when they got out, I think they said Katy Perry or somebody kissed the ground and said, "Oh my God, we made it." And
Gail did. She kissed the ground.
They went, bro. I think that they could have spent that money on taking care of a lot of people. So in this social climate, unfortunately, nobody gives a fuck, and people are actually mad that they did this.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna tell y'all.
That's what I'm seeing a lot of.
It was 7 of them that went. It was $1 million each. Gail got a lot of backlash, and she decided to talk today, Oprah should have told her to be quiet. Like, just don't even say anything, Gail, because you made yourself look more stupid. I just feel like a lot of us don't like.
Wait, what'd she say?
Oh, she said that she's been getting a lot of backlash, and it's from people that she thought was her friends or people that she likes, and she don't understand why nobody is happy for them, that they were making a historical moment and people are not taking well to that. They're trying to change the climate.
Rose, a historical moment. What is it? What about that is historical?
Exactly. They're trying to make it to get the earth cleaner and make the trash that we have there, make it to where it could be put outer space. The trash that we have here.
They did all of that in 11 minutes.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're going to try to figure out a way to get the trash from here to outer space so we can have a better world down here.
Now I call bullshit on that part. Now you full of
And
shit.
yeah, and so she doesn't understand why she's getting so much backlash. That was a historical moment, and people, this is something that kids and other people can look up to and say one day they too can go to
That's why
space, or
nobody don't
well,
like
the
her.
perimeter of space. They too can do that one day. She
We
doesn't
already
understand.
didn't like her. All she did was seal the
That's why I
deal. When
said
did
I
her and
don't think a
Katy
lot of
Perry become
people.
homegirls?
I think a lot of people don't like Gail already, so
Because
they
she's
not
a
gonna
foo-foo
receive.
head.
Yeah, they not gonna receive it from her well, anyways. But it's like, Gail, y'all not about to keep playing in our face talking
No.
about y'all went to space. I don't care if it was the
Bro, they
perimeter.
went
I
to
don't,
space.
girl. I would have had to been on that capsule, and they couldn't even pay me $1 million to get on no capsule to go to space. So I
I
will
just think
never
it's so
believe.
funny how you don't believe in nothing with space. I don't even think they went. I don't really care. I just do it because I
Yeah,
think you're
I
so
don't believe
passionate about
it.
it.
It makes me so
It makes
mad.
you
That's why
mad.
with the people that was there up there for 8 to 9 months, I was like, they're not in space. Like, I just do not believe it. I just don't believe it. I do not believe it. I feel like NASA did played in our face all these years, and we think like I don't believe none of this stuff no more. I don't believe it. Let me say, Tia said, "Laugh out loud."
Because you be so mad. You be so
I
mad
mean, because
about
I'm tired of
anything
them
with
playing
space.
with us. Gwenita, the self-care lab said, so they just left out all the space trainings and tutorials. Exactly. They had that $1 million so they can go up there and do their selfies and make their songs and do whatever they're gonna do. They said they got their glam makeup done and their hair and everything
Oh,
for the
wow.
trip.
Okay. They would have
So
been cute in the casket. Okay.
yeah, I'm just tired of them playing with us. So
No science background, no
nothing.
type of nothing. You didn't promote this before because that's really what you were trying to do to get people to fund it, support it, be out there on the ground when you took off, be available on Zoom, nothing. Then all of a sudden you come back and now you become a trash compactor like Lady
Girl, when she said that, I was like, I wish I could slap Gail. Like, girl, shut up. Like, don't nobody care about that. And even if that was, girl, hey,
This should
y'all
do
gonna
with the
take
kids. Somebody
yeah,
always want to
y'all
throw in
taking
the
the
kids.
trash from down here to put it into space. Like, okay,
Oh,
yeah, you and
oh,
your
baby.
hobbies, okay. So the last thing of my hot topics, look, I'm like,
Be calming
oh,
down.
this goes into the bullying. When I forgot to put this, since everybody be going against us, this was a black mom. Hold
So,
on.
yo, my son.
Oops, hold on. Why are they showing?
So, yo, my son wanted to be a bully today, and guess what? The boy beat the shit out of him. Bust him all in shit. See, I'm a real parent. I don't condone that, so I'm gonna make you apologize to that boy tomorrow when you go back to school. We've been here for 3-4 hours. Cause he wanna fuck with people. I be telling him, you don't leave people alone. You don't know what nobody else got going on. Now look at you. Tore up in the hospital. I bet he won't mess with nobody no more.
Now that's how black parents are, just in case they didn't know.
Yeah, so y'all thinking that we making it a race thing. No, right is right and wrong is wrong. Now that was a black mom. She didn't say which race was being bullied. Her son was bullied, but she making him take accountability in it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
else wants it to be, no, he shouldn't have did nothing. He shouldn't have did X, Y, and Z. He shouldn't have had a knife. He shouldn't have had this. They shouldn't have been bullies. Okay, and then the last thing I want to show until we get into our main topic, this young man, let me show you guys. And this goes into our main topic. A black student with autism graduated with 4.8 GPA, highest ever at his school, and accepted into 45 colleges and receives over $1.5 million in scholarships. That is so bomb to me. When I seen that, I was just like, I love that. So I had to make that easiest way into our topic. So that's
Absolutely.
that's an autistic student, and look how smart they are. It's
They
just
are.
they're very, very smart. And so now we will get into our main topic, which is what is autism. Everybody that's watching, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Press the like button right now, and then I'll have Vonda start talking now. Vonda is my BFF's cousin, and she knows a lot about autism. She tells me a lot. I have to talk to her more often because she knows way, way, way more than me. So I'll let Vonda start off. Hold on. And for you guys that don't know what autism is a serious developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate and interact with others. So, for the most part, that's what it is. But they have a lot of different symptoms and they have different parts of the spectrums that children are on. But I'll let Vonda start off talking. So did you want me to ask you the questions first, Vonda, or did you want to explain what autism is to you, how you stood it?
Well, we can start with the questions, but I can give everybody a little background. If
Mm-hmm.
you want, okay. So I used to work in social services for over 20 years. And for 10 years, I worked getting developmentally disabled adults jobs in the outside community. So I was blessed to be introduced to autism before I actually had my son. And so I have a son, he's 8, he has autism. And this is what kind of leads into why I was asked to be on the show.
Yes, that is. Okay, so my first question is wait, hold on, Vonda. Oh, that's not my first question. I wanted to say this is one thing that I dislike, but I just have to get it out in the open right now since I'm already on 1,000. I dislike so much when people say, oh, they don't look like they have autism. Like they don't look like they have it. So my question is to people, what does autism look like to you? Because I don't know. Like they're regular human beings. I think that a lot of people get autism mixed up with, I don't want to say it be
Yeah, I don't
offensive.
know if that word is a word you're supposed to
Yeah, I
use,
don't know.
but clinically, is it called retardation? Is it called
No,
that?
it's now called
Okay,
intellectual
what is the,
disability.
Thank you. Say it again,
say it
Vonda. What's
again?
it called?
Retardation is now considered intellectual disability, ID.
Okay,
Okay,
so I think they
ID.
get it mixed up with that.
When they
Right.
get autism mixed
Intellectual
up with
disability.
ID, and because they don't really know what it is, so that's why we're having this discussion tonight. An autistic person doesn't have a certain look to me. You wouldn't know. It's a lot of people walking around that are autistic that you would never know. So
Correct.
that's one thing I would like people to stop saying is, oh, they don't look like, you don't look like it, because what does it look like?
Right. I that that's the reason why a lot of males are, because it's higher in males than it is in females, but there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people that have autism that's walking around and they don't even know that they have autism
Right,
because people tell them, you look like you're fine, you
right,
look like you don't have anything going on with you.
right.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, they're completely frustrated and wondering why certain things don't make
Why
sense.
I can't connect or understand
Right,
certain things the way that this person can connect
right.
and understand things.
And
and
I often
just
think they're
think
more
growing up,
smart.
yeah, just think growing up, we was talking about earlier, we didn't hear about autism when our generation growing up. It was really just kids that had Down syndrome or
Right.
DI, whatever we call
ID.
it now. But so now it's a lot of people that in our generation that probably would have been diagnosed as that and they didn't, or they was just put in the special ed class because they said that they was bad. But if they were diagnosed properly, then it would have been different.
Misdiagnosed, saying that they have ADHD,
ADHD.
Uh-huh.
and it wasn't that. It was something else going on with them.
It's very sad that we didn't have the resources in our community because it looked different, right? When a child is frustrated because they can't get what they're trying to say out, they
Mm-hmm.
want to label our children as, to your point, disruptive, all of those things, and they immediately placed them into ADHD or wanted to put them on a medication instead of trying to, because it can go from mild to a bigger case, right?
Uh-huh.
But they
Yeah.
didn't do that. They didn't even take the time. And it wasn't enough of us in that space, which is why STEM is so big now. So we can have the representation so that we can deal with our own and recognize and realize different things. But no, when we came up, it was either you looked like you had it or you were just bad. It was no in between that something is just not right.
And they did have they were diagnosing some people with it, but it wasn't called autism. Then it was called Asperger.
Asperger's.
Yeah, that's what it was called. But that's basically the same thing as autism. But
It
that's
all
what they
fits in
were.
the same spectrum
Yep,
because
it's in
it's
the
a
same spectrum.
vast spectrum.
And so that's what I want to get into. But I wanted to tell everybody, don't say that. I hate that. What does it look like? Okay, so my first question to you is how old was your son when you started to see signs that something was different in him?
Chris started speaking real quick. He was doing everything a lot faster to the point where he was speaking multiple different languages. And I didn't teach him this. It was self-taught by him, like watching things. He was just picking up on things like way faster than I've ever seen other kids doing. So around 2, he just stopped talking. He went from using full sentences, asking for everything, to stop talking. Um, he was 2. He was 2. But they didn't want to diagnose him. They said
Oh
he was
yeah.
too young to
Mhm.
diagnose him. And I had to like fight for a diagnosis because I knew that early intervention was important.
Okay. See, you knew more than me. So Amir, it was almost the same thing. But my was he wasn't talking at all. Okay, calm down, Amir. Here, mommy's on the thing. Remember? Um, he wasn't talking at all. And I knew at 18 months kids talked. So I took him to his pediatrician and she said, oh, he's just having a speech delay, but you can get him tested if you want to. But it's just probably a speech. We're not going to school, Dad. Amir, you have to go sit down. Mommy's on the thing. You have to go get him tested, but I'm pretty sure it's just a speech delay. He was 18 months then. He would spin around and just keep spinning and spinning around. He would daze off. Amir, stop. We're not going to school. Okay. He would daze off, just like looking, and I would be like, and he would still just do it. So when I took him to get tested, they said the same thing. Oh, we can't test him. He's too young right now. But he does have we're just saying he just has a speech delay. So it's basically the same thing. So you could tell them everything.
Okay. So yeah, I had to push for a diagnosis because they don't want to diagnose your child before the age of 3.
Yeah.
The first doctor that I went to, she told me I wasn't requiring my son to use his words. And that's why he was not speaking. I took him to the next doctor and I started telling him the things that I was noticing. I went to a specialist. He was a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, when I'm feeding him, he's not gazing in my eyes. I missed that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I got that with my first son. I wanted to experience that again. My youngest wasn't doing that. The thing that tripped me out is when we would go to the doctor, I would look crazy because that's the day he wants to gaze in my eyes while I'm
Of
feeding him.
course.
Right. But you just know. You just
Yeah,
know.
you
No,
know
as a
something.
mom, I
You know
think.
something is off. Amir wouldn't talk at all. He would just point. He would point to everything. But another thing that he did too, he would sing. but he would not talk. And that's what I would tell the doctor. I was like, well, why will he sing, but he won't talk? Like, that makes no sense to me. And it's still right now, it don't. But I don't know
They
why they
take
won't
things in
diagnose.
differently. They
Yeah,
take things
so
in differently.
Juanita said 5 symptoms of autism: difficulty with social interactions, which, yeah, I'm pretty sure both of us seeing that with our children. Communication, yes. Repetitive behaviors, yep. Movement, intense, interesting sensory sensitivities, yes. Both. Does your son have sensory sensitivities?
Yes, he does not like loud sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I so turns out both of my sons have autism. So my oldest, his sensory, the things he would tell me I didn't make sense to me, like certain smells make his teeth hurt. And I didn't understand that. But now that I know that he has autism, it makes sense. But
It'd be weird because it'd be stuff that you don't even hear that they can hear. I always use an example. We had went to Benihana's one time. I think it was for my sister's birthday. Well, like a place like Benihana's, it's the same setup. And when he got in there, when the cook came, he just started freaking out, and we did not know what was wrong with him here. We had to take him outside, sit outside, and when the cook got finished, got ready to be finished, we brought him back in. He still was hollering and hollering.
It was the
He
clean of the things.
Nope, it was the fan. It was the fan. As soon as he turned that fan off, Amir, shut up. And all of us looked at each other and was like, wait, what? Like, to us, we don't really even hear that fan. But it was
Right.
something in that fan. I mean, he was
It is
tripping.
loud. We
I
block it
was
out, but they
I was
can't. Yeah.
I was told it feels like a whole bunch of pricklies, like feeling all over your body at one time, but intense to where it gets you up and it makes you want to move. It makes you want to run. It makes you, and like you said, it's certain sounds that would just set it
Mm-hmm.
off.
And that was one of them. And I remember I was like, dang, it was that fan. Like, it just be certain stuff he hears that I don't hear it, but he'll freak out. Like, if we're like at the fair or somewhere where it's a lot of sound or movement, he'll tell me, Mommy, I need my headphones. And then once he gets comfortable, then he can take them off. He'll take them off himself. But it's a lot of stuff we don't hear with our ears. He can hear stuff that I don't, that he can hear, like a fire truck coming way before I hear it.
Okay, to it. Yeah.
Their
And I
senses are
just be like,
heightened.
Yes.
yes.
They're way
Yes.
smarter than us. You
Oh
just
Yes.
need
yeah.
to figure out how to put it together.
Yes.
And that's where their frustration comes from, is that we're doing something away and they looking at us like, that doesn't make sense the way you're doing it.
Mhm.
They're way smarter. Hence the
Are
4.8
to
with
the
the
point where I
degrees.
can explain to you that I already know what you're trying to explain to me. So I'm going to venture off and do what I want
Yep.
because you're teaching
You
me
taking
something
too
I
long.
already know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yes.
think that's why Amir has a lot of behavior problems in class, because he's, even though he's in an autistic class, he's still like on a 4th grade level. And it's like they not teaching him nothing. It is still things he could learn from them, like how to write better and all that. But as far as them
The
teaching him,
intellect part.
yeah, like,
Mhm.
it's nothing that y'all teaching him. Okay, so that was okay, you did say what you saw that was different. But how old was he when they finally diagnosed him?
It was right before he turned 3. So I went hard for that year when he was 2. Um, Pushing for a diagnosis because I wanted to start him getting speech therapy immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got it right like 2 weeks before he turned 3.
And who did you go through to get his diagnosis? Did you go through regional center or did you go through your primary insurance company?
I ended up going through both. I went through
Okay.
both to have more documentation if it was needed.
Smart. Very
Yeah,
smart.
that is, because I only did regional because they said they told me you only needed either or. So
Yeah,
I
but
just went.
for certain benefits, if you're trying to get Social Security or something like that, I know documentation is important. So I wanted
Yeah.
2 places to say that this is what's going on with him.
Smart.
So how was your daily life with your son, like how did it change once you had your second son and he was diagnosed? How did it change? And like what is a daily schedule for you? Like a day in the life with Vonda and her sons.
They kind of make it easy because they're kind of rigid. They are on schedules. Like
Mhm.
they know what they're supposed to be doing. So I can't slack. It's like get up. It's time for us to get up. You know it's 6 o'clock. Um so it's pretty much they run the show and I just follow through. They make their own appointment. Well, they're not making their own appointments, but because they constantly need appointments, as long as I'm writing them down in a planner or something, we're able to meet the appointments. Every Wednesdays we do therapy for Chris. He has speech at 9. It's occupational at 1, and then at 3 we have behavior.
And that
So
how many days a week you said?
I made sure I made my life easier by scheduling all Chris's appointments on Wednesdays. So Chris doesn't go to school on Wednesdays. Michael's appointments are on Thursdays. So Michael has an option to go to school on Thursdays if he doesn't have any appointments.
You know,
Oh.
something that you called out is one of the things self-care lab called out as repetition. That's what made us notice it in one of my nephews. He would stand in front of the TV and jump up and down, and he liked to do the same exact thing. So if you're a parent going through this, you said something amazing. Make your life easier. They really like structure. So you have to be a
Mhm.
structured parent. They want everything the same because, again, they're smarter than us. It makes sense to them. And then they won't have behavior problems. And I think that's contributed to, in the earlier cases, why it wasn't good because the single mom couldn't stay at home and do the things the way she needed to for the child. So it thus made the child act out, and they don't like being in different environments. They like the same things, same people, same food. It's they notice labels like everything down to a
Mhm.
crayon. You have to have a lot of order in your home for it
You
to
do
be
have to have structure, and like
successful.
she said, they wake up. Amir wakes up at seven,
Even
six, between 6:45 and 7 every day. It don't matter if he go to bed.
on vacation,
Mhm.
huh?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
You made your cameo.
Right. In the mirror made his. Um. So were you? Did you have to? Did you have to stop working? Because I feel like with my schedule, I have ABA therapy and all that 3 times a week, and they said it was going to be a lot. They tried to do it 5 days a week, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I didn't want to do it 3 days a week, but they snuck in the social group. So when they said that, I was like, well, he do need to be around other kids to learn how to socialize. That's the only reason why I went to 3 days. Cause I'm like, y'all not about to do that to me and be here for 4 hours every day of the week. Like I feel like it's too much, but then I feel like was I not doing sometimes I feel like am I not doing it enough? Like am I not doing enough for him? You know what I mean?
Right. Um, Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Chris, privacy, please. Can you go to the playroom? Thank you. Can you tell? Thank you. So, um, it's. I'm sorry. Go back. I need 3 seconds to repeat the question one more time. Hold on.
Oh no, I was saying how did you deal with like the therapy and stuff when you said making it easier for you
Easier for
because
myself.
yeah.
Okay, so like you were saying, did I have to quit my job? Yes. Yes, I did. At one point I wasn't able to keep up with everything that they needed. My oldest son's grades was bad. Um I was being pulled in way too many directions to where you become like a zombie trying to keep up with everything. Um I decided to quit my job. One day it was just one of them decisions that I prayed about and I was like, I'm gonna figure this out one way or another. And things started landing in my lap to make it easier. So I quit my job probably a year after his diagnosis. And now both of my kids are getting like because I'm their biggest advocate. I'm still working. I'm working for my kids now because social services, these skills, these qualities have not stopped. It has not changed. I've just transitioned to doing it for my kids instead of doing it for other individuals. Um,
What
you
things did
have
you do to make it easier for yourself? Like you said, things fell on your lap. What are some of the things that fell on your lap that maybe other parents can look for?
resources. Like I said, social services was already in me, so it's your resources. When I ganged up with Inland Regional Center, they let me know about multiple different programs that he could be involved with. There is a program called Forta that teaches you how to be your child's ABA therapist, to where you can get certified and start billing your insurance company to be your child's ABA therapist because you're already doing it. You're
Yeah,
already
you did tell me about that, but I don't have it in me. But go ahead.
but you're already doing it when
Right.
you're constantly
She's so hard
redirecting your
headed.
child. But you're already doing it when you're constantly redirecting your child or teaching your child how to do something in a different manner than what they are trying to do it in. That's already therapy. So it's worth it. It's worth it. I promise you, it is. It just adds the knowledge of knowing for a parent too. Um, there's other programs such as, inroads. So as a mom, you're going to need a break. There's programs that you can still have your income, you can still have your job, and they will pay someone to just give you like a few hours to yourself,
Yeah,
to go
respite is.
shopping,
Mm-hmm.
to do the things you need to do. Medical insurance, it's all these things, all these avenues that it's just knowing your resources.
I like that you brought up Inland, because Inland is a really good resource and it's a one-stop shop. And if you build a good relationship with them there, um, they do guide you to everything that you need. My sister used them, and then my
I
best
use
friend worked
I
there.
use them, but I feel like with us,
They
they
did you a
don't.
disservice though. You didn't have a good experience.
Yeah,
You
because I'm
didn't.
like,
It should have been way better.
And
Akimi
I,
was
usually,
way better. Gina's
yeah.
was
The
way
only
better.
thing I know of, they do help with respite. They do the $100 a month for repayment for activities, but now they've taken the activities down so much. It's like, what am, it's nothing that they can repay you the $100 for. Um, I do know. Do you know about the FMLA? Because you probably know more than me. I just started seeing stuff like this. The FMLA for autistic parents, they can use that to where if their kids have to go to doctor's appointments and everything, they
Mhm.
can't get fired. So do you
Mhm.
know about that?
yeah, at the end of the day, you still have to be a parent. So there is multiple resources within jobs, within your HR. You got to get in with your HR. So FMLA,
Mm-hmm.
family leave. How do you do it again?
Family Medical Leave
So,
Act.
There
mm-hmm.
you go. They will pay the hours. Like, let's say your child has a doctor's appointment and you need 4 hours. That 4 hours can come to them while you're taking your child, and you can ask for as much time as you need off. Like, this is for your child, it's for your child's well-being. They can't tell you no.
If they can't tell you
If
no,
you right, if
or they can't fire you.
they can't, because who else is going to do it other than you? You're the
Mm-hmm.
child's parent. You still have to be a parent.
So the way you do that is you get your paperwork for FMLA, and versus somebody that would take off time altogether, you ask for intermittent leave. And that means you can use your time in different blocks. And that is not paid time though. You have to have the paid time behind it. That's job
Right.
protection. And so those 12 weeks that you have for intermittent leave, just think about spreading that over the course of a rolling 12 months. Behind that, you can use sick time. And then before, in the state of California, you also have your 40 hours of parental leave time. So you have to make sure that it's documented. But if it's there, intermittent leave, you can call in the morning and say your child is having a problem. I won't be able to come in a day, or I'm an hour late. We're getting to a late start, or I got to leave early, or I got to leave right now. It's really hypersensitive for intermittent leave because we know that you might have to leave at the drop of a dime for your kid. But you want to make sure your job knows that, so that your job can be protected. Because to your everybody's point, you need to be there for your child, and you might have to leave right then. So it's about letting them know.
And by law, there's like no consequences. If
No.
not, it's a lawsuit. So by law, there's no consequences.
And most of us in HR, I'm going to be honest, when we see those things come through, we actually remember those people by name. No matter how many staff we have, we remember them by name because we know, we feel that sense of urgency, especially if it's a woman. We think about it like, if this person calls, I'll tell him, why are you standing here telling me to rest? Go, call me later, because you don't have to tell me why. You don't have to tell them why. All you have to say is, I need to use this today. Nobody can ask you your personal business. You don't have to tell them. We're very hypersensitive in that space. We won't even threaten your job. Now, if performance becomes a problem, I do want you to know that that's a separate issue. So just work that out with your team, though. Hey, I need to leave this meeting, have my back, stuff like that. But to lose your job for it, you can't for missing work, but you can for performance. So be careful, because that's a fine line thing.
It is a fine line. So what if they be like, oh, her performance is bad because she's leaving all the time?
Well, I think it's important, like Vonda did, to get, if your job that you have, let's say you work at a warehouse, right? And you need to use FMLA, that's all production time. So that's probably not the best job for you in your situation. You also have to be realistic and make some of those hard decisions. You want to be in a space where you can do your best, because that contributes to your mental health as a parent. You want to show up and do well. You don't want to show up and not do well. So that's another stress you're adding to yourself. If it's something you can't do, if you can't be a manager, whatever it is, you may need to restructure your work life, because a company can't operate around whatever we're going through, but they can accommodate, but you still got to show up. So think about the job that you have and make a decision that's best for you and get a role that fits what you need better.
And I think everyone thinks that HR is like against you when I feel like HR is more of an advocate. You go to them, you let them know your situation, they will work with you. Before I quit my job, HR was a blessing. Not only did they let me use my time off, they gave me 30 days off so I can try to situate everything in my life.
That's good.
During those 30 days, it also let me know, or it let me see the benefit of me being home with my kids and how much I was putting in. That kind of what led up to the decision for me to quit my job, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to give them what they needed and still been able to give my kids what they needed from me as well.
Thank you for saying that. We've given some people that 30 days off, and we know behind the scenes we're giving it so you can do that. If I give you this time off and tell you, and I offer it to you, your brain is now relaxed. It's now not having to worry because we offered it to you. So your brain starts to think different, and a choice that I would have made for you, you're probably going to make for yourself, to your point, because you're like, this is actually better. And then guess what? You can always come back with something like that. Kids is a really big deal. Kids and family. HR is not against you. It's so many people that I told about all the resources that I would find out, because you want to help. That's a kid you're talking about, not just, that's a person. So you do want to help, and we do have resources that we try to help with as we know them. So, yeah.
Okay, and then what about your child with how do you do the IEP? I'm learning more about the IEP because a lot of people was telling me, oh, don't let him get an IEP, because if he get that, but then I learned like an IEP is a good thing. So could you explain the IEP to everyone?
Okay, yeah, IEP. It's an
No, I'm HR.
individual
You're everything else.
education. It's an individual education plan. It's needed because, like, just like if you're a parent and you need accommodations, your children are going to need accommodation in school. So that is a way for you to set up your child's personal learning program. For Chris, my son takes his time doing everything. He sometimes will do preferred tasks when he wants to, but because he needs more time doing things, I've added that to his IEP that he just needs more time. Now he's allowed to get more time to finish tasks because it's something he genuinely does need. You set up a plan that's going to get your child to their maximum potential.
And you don't have to go with everything they say. You can tell them that you don't want that, and they have to.
Oh, sorry. You
No,
know
no,
your
no.
child best. you know your child best, and I'm sorry to be honest, we're all working for that child,
Right.
all of us. So if, yeah, as a parent, if you see that, okay, no, my child is more advanced in this, or my child needs this, or my child needs that, it is our job to advocate because they have those rights.
And then I was told also if they have, long as they have an IEP, that they're able to go to college and everything for free.
IEP and 504 plan, I believe that's the correct term for it. So if your child is not, um, does not have an IEP, you can request a 504. 504 is similar. I don't know the differences between them, but I know they're similar, and they're both plans that you can ask for accommodations for your child to make sure that your child is getting what they need.
I think the 504s are more like for children with health problems. It's That's the only time I really seen 504 since I've been like a school nurse, is for like diabetic children or children that have, like have to take medication, that have medical problems. I've never really seen it for like an autistic, because Amir doesn't have a 504, he just have an IEP. So I
Chris
don't
has,
know. That would be a good
That's a good
question.
follow-up question.
Yeah.
Chris, Christopher has an IEP and Michael has a 504 plan.
Right.
But
I think
Michael
it's just
wasn't diagnosed.
underutilized.
Michael didn't have a diagnosis at first. So we
And
were
so
using,
he's the one that had the 504 then, right? See, that's what I said. The 504, I think, is just medical needs, but the IEP is more when you're diagnosed with something.
okay.
I really think that that's the difference. I think so. Wait, let me see. She said, I think 504 is for older children.
Okay.
It
Oh,
might
for
be
Chris
the
for,
age
has,
group.
well, but no, because I went to a 504 meeting for a little girl, and she was in the first grade, but she was a diabetic. So that's why I was saying maybe it could be for children with medical needs. And it was a 504, because that was the first time I heard of it. I was like, they was like, oh, we need you to come to the 504 meeting. And I was like, what is that?
504 plan in education, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. It is accommodations can be written for a student physical impairment that substantially limits a major life activity, but the physical impairment may not be affecting the student's academic development. So I think
Yeah.
it says physical. I looked it up.
okay.
Okay, let me see. Boo said something. She said, when my nephew turned 14, it was no longer IEP. They said 504, and he has no medical or no medication. Oh, okay.
You want me to read the difference between the two?
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
short. You want me to read it or you don't? You
No,
don't? It's
you
fine.
can.
Okay. It says that IEP is specialized plan for students with disabilities requiring special education services, while 504 plan focuses on accommodations for students with disabilities to access general education. So one is physical and one is the other one.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's directly from IEP.
So yeah, so that was one thing that people was saying. So that's what they were saying. Sometimes you have to get advocates for that, and those are people that just work with you to help the parents. Because sometimes the parents don't know, and for a while, and sometimes I still be feeling like I need an advocate because I don't know everything. So I remember one time there was when Amir was in TK last year, they was trying to put him in a county school, I think, because they said they have more resources for kids on the spectrum. And so they told me to go look at the school. So I was like, okay, I'll go look at it. I didn't want to be that parent that be like, no, 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 and ain't even trying to go look. So when I went to go look at the school, this was at the IEP. I went to go look at the school. And when I got there, I was like, no, because the kids there, they were on the spectrum, but they were like, they didn't talk or nothing.
A little more severe. You think it would have
Yeah,
held him back?
none of them didn't talk or anything. And I was just like, no, I
That's
don't want to.
okay.
And so I had told the teacher when I came back and I talked to everybody, I was like, I don't think that that would be a good fit for him. I was like, he's verbal now, even though he doesn't talk in full sentences all the time, but at least he is verbal. Those kids there were not verbal at all. And I think that that would set him
That would hold
back
him
a
back.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they was like, no, 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 we understand. We didn't know it was like that. We just know that they have better resources there and the teachers there are better trained. Like they're trained more for those kind of children than we are here. And they was like, but if you don't feel like it's a good fit, then that's fine. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And so they work with me a lot. So I was happy when they said that.
Charger. Mom.
Every week he comes in here for his charger.
We almost made it. We have 5620. We almost made
right,
it.
because he come in here every week for that charger. Like, boy, come on now. Alonda said, I commend both of you ladies for going through, for going with your gut and advocating for your children early. You are both awesome moms. Thank you, Alondra.
Absolutely.
But I think the reason why I was like that, because I won't say it's because I'm an older mom, but I kind of think that that's why. And I seen the effects of children not being diagnosed early and not getting the therapy they need. And I always felt like, okay, I'll say us, because it really is us. They're getting diagnosed more with autism, but a lot of parents are be like, no, my baby don't got that. They not about to
They're
put
too
that.
embarrassed for no
Yeah, they not
reason.
about to put that on my baby and everything. But in the long run, who is going to suffer more? It's going to be your baby. That baby is going to grow up to be an adult, and he's going to have to learn how to navigate through life. Look at how it was an autistic boy. I forgot what city he was in. I want to say it still was in California last week, and they banged that boy up
Oh,
9
the one
times.
with the knife.
Yeah, because he was holding a knife in his hand, and it was 4 police. He was behind a gate, and they banged him up 9 times, and he just had a knife in his hand. Like, so I just have to. They don't care that they're on the spectrum. But if you get them the therapy and everything that they need early, then you can help them. Like, don't be embarrassed that your child was diagnosed with that. Like, get them the help that they need early. So when I seen that in the mirror, I was like, no, let me try to get him the help that he needs. Now, even as far as medication, I didn't even want to. Is your son on medication, Vonda?
No, we don't use medication.
Yeah, see, and I didn't want to do medication, but then we'll get into why you didn't do it. I didn't want to do medication, but I felt like it was nothing else I could do. I let him run around, jump, do all that stuff, and it was like nothing ever calmed him down. It was nothing that calmed him down. And then that's when he got diagnosed with ADHD too. So he was autistic with ADHD. That's just put in more. And I was just like, I don't want to put him on medication because I didn't want him to be like a zombie. But then that's when they was like, well, we have non-stimulated medication to where he won't be like a zombie. And we're trying that now. It's like a 50-50 thing. I did try CBD. And that seemed like it worked, but it seemed like he just needs something else. Like, I don't want him to be calm because I know he's still young, but it's just be like he be on a million. And that's why I was like, let me try the medication and see how it works. But after this, I was like, I'll probably just go back to the CBD and see. So why did you not use medication?
I let him stem.
Mm-hmm.
He's running around. I let it. Like he eventually will tire himself out. When he's ready to go to bed, he's ready. I really, when I say they don't allow me to like really have to parent, they kind of do their own thing, but it ends up being structured. It ends up being very structured. Um, right now, I can hear him running back and stemming up there. So we have things in place like a kid's bike that he could ride, or trampoline. Like when we're watching movies, I'll let him jump up and down and watch the movie.
Oh yeah,
Whatever.
he do that. All that stuff is downstairs though. His trampoline, his little thing that spin around in a circle, all that stuff I have downstairs. But for the most part, I let him do what he want to do. But sometimes I have to tell him, like, you can't do this always, because when we go out, I don't want him to feel like he can do that. So it's certain stuff I feel like I still have to be like, no, Amir, you can't do that, because I don't want to be that parent. I seen a video and I should have put it on here. It was a mother and they were on the plane, and her little boy, he was stimming, but he was knocking into the chair behind him. And so just think, if you're that person behind this child and he's stimming but going like this, and you can't put your drinks down there, you can't put whatever, your tablet or phone down there, because he's doing that. And she said, and I wish somebody would say something to me. Some people was on her side. I was like, I kind of don't agree with that, because me, I know when Amir is sleepy. So if we have to fly somewhere, I try to do like early morning flights or late night flights when I know that he could go to sleep or something. And then if we do have to do flights in the daytime, I'll try to do something by the window where I know he likes looking out the window. Or if I know he's one that would like to buck and do all that, I would probably get the last seat in the back seat. Yeah. Like, I would not do that to other people and just be like, oh, my son is on the spectrum and he's stimming and don't say nothing to me. I think that that's kind of unfair. So that's why I still try to have a little bit of structure with Amir, because he can't do that everywhere and people be okay with it. Like, I do understand our children STEM, but I think that they still should have some structure. But at home, if they want to do that, that's fine. But I still have to be sometimes like, no, Amir, you can't do that. You can't do that.
But you know your child too. That's one thing. There's a hidden language to where you know your child. So you, like you said, we get flights overnight, red eyes. We always get red eye flights. I've always made a point, if we're flying somewhere, to get red eye flights. Um, Instead of going to the movies when we're having family outings, we go to the drive-in, because I know he's gonna want to like move around. You know your child, and you know like what they're gonna need at that moment. When we're at public, like when we're doing something or we're outside or we're at something where we're in the public and he needs to stim, I'll be right back. We need to take a walk. And I'll let him run back and forth and do what he needs to do, then come back in. So it's tiring because you have to stop what you're doing for a second. But I don't know about the medication route. I'm gonna let you take the lead and then see how that works out. There's no rule book to this. I am learning as I go.
Yeah, so, and I am too. It's just I'm not gonna give him a stimulated one. I don't want him to be a zombie. I'd rather him just be wild and free how he is. I would never do that to him. But I was like, let me try something, and I'll read other parents and see what they say. And a lot of parents have tried the CBD, but you have to have the THCA, like the synthetic part, and it's hard to find that. Okay. So that's the one. It's so hard for me to find it. And I found it one time in Corona, and I always have to call to see if they have it, because they don't have it all the time. So it's just certain
and
things.
And you said the CBD one was working well?
It worked, but it still did. If they only want you to take it once a day, and I feel like he needed it 2 times a day, and I didn't know if I gave it to him more than once, would that mess him up? Because just think, I'm still learning, so I really didn't know. So now I want to try it. Then I stopped giving it to him when he started his medication, because the doctor was like, well, you don't really know if it's working if you're giving him the CBD too. So I stopped giving it to him. But now that he's on it, I don't want her to increase his dose, because she already increased it 3 times. So I was like, well, maybe if I incorporate the CBD with this would be what really, mellow him out a little bit, like stabilize him to where he's able to be okay. Because my goal, like I told them in the IEP, my goal is for him to be in mainstream classroom. I don't want him to have to be in an autistic class for the rest of his life. I want him to be able to be in mainstream, but he won't be able to be in mainstream because he's too wild. Like, no teacher is going to be able to deal with that. So as long as he's like that, he's going to have to stay in the classes that he's in. And I just feel like he's too smart for that. I almost feel like he probably wouldn't be able to be in mainstream. He would probably have to be in like somebody's gate class, but still he would have to be able to sit down to where he can focus, not just running all around and needing one-on-one all the time. That's what I don't know. How do you think well, you said how it affect your life, and you said your schedule. What do you think that we can do as parents? How can I word this to get other people to help us, but to learn more? Like, what can they do?
I guess just be involved with that child. I'm okay with asking for help when I need it, but I have a strong support system to where everyone kind of will I have cousins that, no, you can do this. I got him, or things like that. Again, in the regional center, you just build a support system that's going to help with your needs to make your life easier. Um, I don't know. Did I answer the question correctly?
No, yeah, you did.
Okay.
Did you have other questions, Asia?
No,
Or
but
anybody in the comments have questions?
no, but I have a suggestion from an outside perspective. I think that we only talk about this topic once a year during a month, and I think that your primary goal, because something that I see that bothers you a lot is the variation between what is autism and other things. It's not enough information out there in our communities. So maybe I'm going to suggest that you replace the Black history with autism facts and show more of what you show today, where if you do everything that you can, your child can have a 4.8 GPA, they can go to college, show things that show, because people don't really see it. If you're not in this world, you don't see it. I only know because I was raised in this world. We had group homes, and I told you about that. My little brother, Gina's son, that's the only way I know. But to your point, it started with not knowing, like, why are they misbehaving? Only to learn they're not misbehaving. We're frustrating the shit out of them, and you have to do something. But people don't know that. So they don't know what it looks like. They don't know that it could be that child is two, speaking full sentences, can do all of this really smart stuff. So you don't notice the other part. So maybe show more stuff like that, so then they can understand that it's out here a lot. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. And just like any of us, hone in on what that it factor is about that child, because that's what they need from you. They're really good with science stuff and stuff like that. Do a lot of that and build that up, because it will solve, like, I think you should show more stuff like that about, because it doesn't have a look. They're actually the
No.
most smartest. That's
And
what
I
it is.
think the biggest misconception is that people think that because someone has autism, they're limited.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. They can learn several languages, whatever
yeah.
their it thing is, they take it to the next level, like like you said. Check with your child, see why they're misbehaving. It could be that they need to be in higher classes. Skip that child if you need to, but pay attention, because it doesn't have a look, it has a feel and a
Yep.
behavior, if you will. So I think you should switch it so people could see it more.
I could probably do both.
Or you can, but I think that should be your it thing should
But
be
But
that.
the only reason
education
why,
is important, and inclusiveness.
yeah,
Yes.
Um,
I just
People
didn't.
need to allow. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
Sorry.
you can go, Vonda. You can go.
But inclusiveness, if you know somebody that has autism or has a child that has autism, invite them. Explain to everybody that's there, this person has autism. He's still normal. He understands everything that's going on. He may not speak, but he understands everything.
Mm-hmm.
You
Don't
could
treat them
play
different.
right.
Oh yeah,
That's the
I
biggest
sure don't
thing.
let
Don't
nobody
treat them
treat them
different.
different. I don't let
Don't
them treat them different at
don't
all.
overly baby them. Don't be too hard. Treat them like whatever you do with all the other kids, do with that kid, because they pick up on repetition. So if they're around
Exactly.
that a lot, right, just keep that in your head, that you may need to take a little time at the beginning, but before you know it, they're looking for that. So if you keep giving it to them, they'll keep doing it, and then they'll be in mainstream classes and things like that. So it will come together.
Let me read some of these. Laundry said exactly. They be in denial. They are actually exceptionally gifted children who
Mhm.
view the world differently. We need to get on their level for real.
I think they see colors we don't see. I
Yeah,
was
I
telling my
believe
mom
that
that
too.
about,
I
yeah, you
believe
think
that
that
too.
too? I'm like, I
Yes.
think they see stuff way back. Because why are they're always happy. They have a good attitude. They're loving. Like, you have to piss them off or they get frustrated. Other than that, they're not like that. I think they
Mhm.
see different than we see.
And they only allow you to peek into their world so you can see how good it is, because you be thinking like, oh no, you're doing this wrong, and then it turns out to be something completely else than what you were
That they,
thinking.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
They like, let me bake. Let me bake.
I got this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. People need to know that.
Yeah. So that, yeah, Vonda, well, so how do you feel now that you did it? Would you be able to come back on? Did you?
It wasn't that bad.
I told
No,
Told
you said
you.
I was gonna say that. No, it wasn't that bad.
you.
Told you we got you. It's love.
And anybody else that has children that you guys can come on and talk about this subject, you're more than welcome to come on. I just asked Vonda because I know she really knows a lot. So I'm gonna have her come on more often now that she feels comfortable. And so again, let me see. I'll show you. Well, you guys already know Amir.
And yes, they're very good artists. That artistic piece is out of
Yeah.
control. They could play
That's me and Amir
instruments, everything.
at his
Dance.
favorite. This is him at his favorite place at Disneyland.
Hmm.
So okay, and then also, where is it? Next month, so you guys can remember, is the self-care labs, their 5K run and walk. It's their third annual one, May 31st. So you guys can um put your phones up there and register. And then they also have the superhero 5K run, walk, roll. And that's for kids for Rocking My Disability. That's this month on the 26th from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you know, I always have my closing quote, and that is today would be normalize praying, which we need to do that more often, even if you pray to somebody. Normalize praying. People aren't jealous of material things anymore. They are jealous of your aura, your personality, the way people love and support you, your natural leadership abilities, and things that money cannot buy. Y'all know that's really true nowadays. So normalize praying, you guys. And thank you guys for tuning in this week. Thank you, Vonda, for coming on. And like I said, I want you to come back on more now.
Thank you for having me.
And you're welcome. Everybody, make sure you like this live, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next week. Any other closing remarks, Asia?
No, ma'am. Great show. Great topic. I loved it.
Okay, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Good night.
This is an exclusive. Bitch, I'm from Pomona.